it.
There we go.
Battery problems.
We're once again asking you to recharge your batteries.
Yeah, so of all the arches not within 30 miles of Arches National Park, 50 maybe it is within 30 miles, it's pretty close.
It's not like made out of the red sandstone, which is what the usual gorgeous arches are made out of. But I mean, it is really cool.
It does give you a cool view through it and around it.
Yeah. We passed by a trail to go to.
Oh, while we were at Mesa Arch, we had to give a 10-minute long Arches explanation because there were two groups of people, two couples, I assume, that were just talking about Arches things, and it sounded like none of them knew what they were talking about.
Yeah,
so I had to butt in.
If they had to go to Delicate Arch and.
That's how it started. The one guy was asking the other guy, what's the hike to Delicate Arch like? Is it?
Yeah.
And as people with experience on that hike, I felt the need to butt in, and then we couldn't escape for about 10 minutes because they kept having other questions. Oh, well, did you go see this or?
Yeah, so we recommended the Primitive Trail at least to the two arches that are easily accessed off of it.
Yeah.
But they seem very happy with the recommendations. I'm trying to remember. Was there anything else at Mesa Arch that was particularly? I mean, it was a pretty hike. It was a pretty place, but I think that the upheaval dome or whatever it's called was just sort of like blew that out of our minds.
Yeah. The view from Great View Point or whatever was also incredible.
Oh gosh, yeah. Grand View Point.
Yeah.
There was the Whale Rock on the way that we will definitely want to hike sometime. There was a hike down to some like petroglyphs, I think, that we would want to do the next time, or like a house in the side of the canyon.
Yeah, I guess our biggest problem was we were not properly water prepared for the journey.
Well, we'd also done the Primitive Trail the day before, so we were like, this is our low-key day.
Yeah, we weren't expecting to do a lot of hiking, and we had 4 water bottles left from our various water bottle purchases, and then we had that were in the hotel room in the fridge that we brought. And then there were 2 that had been in the car, so they were not cold. And that was the water that we had. And when we went to the visitor center at the start, when we were listening to the guide along, he's like, oh yeah, you can get water there. And so I was wandering around with 2 bottles, and I couldn't find where you could get more water. At least partially because there was like a family or something that was just sort of being weird at the point, sort of blocking the way to where the water was. We did eventually find the water after it was mostly not useful anymore.
Yeah.
But it did limit our interest in going out in the 90-degree heat because it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 90 degrees and no clouds. So it was very hot.
Yes.
So we didn't have enough water to really sustain ourselves on long out of the car trips.
So the one trip we did do that was more than a view. That was more of a bit of a hike than, just getting out and walking to a viewpoint, was the overlook for Upheaval Dome, which was a fun little hike too.
Yeah.
Like, it had a lot of sort of twists and turns and like some shade even, because it was up through the rocks. And then you get to the top and you see just giant bowl in the earth with green spikes coming up out of the middle, which I guess there are 2 theories about how it came to be the way that it is, and the theory that I favor is a meteorite hit it, so you can kind of imagine the like bubble burst around the edge and then the middle spiking up, but those were some beautiful sights, and it would be great to go to. We went to the first overlook, which was a 1 mile round trip, and it's another half mile to a mile to get to the second overlook.
Yeah, if/when we go back to Canyonlands, we're definitely going to get there earlier in the day and try to plan to tackle some of the hikes, because the big whale hike looked like it would be fun.
Yeah.
We could do more on the Upheaval Dome. Probably won't do the 10-mile round trip, go down into it, although that would also be cool. I'm just not sure that we're
yeah, I don't think we're that level.
1,400 feet of elevation change in 10 miles seems like it's probably a lot.
Yep. Yeah, we don't want to be those people who end up needing to be rescued.
Yeah.
And then we went back to the visitor center and actually found the water so that we could go back to the Green River overlook and watch the sunset from there, which was absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, we've seen the late day to sunset at Canyonlands. So next time it would be fun to see early day sunrise sort of a thing. But also now really curious about the Needles area, because that seems like you might be able to like walk among the hoodoos and stuff like that rather than looking down on everything from on top, which is cool. But you know, it's fun to be in the midst of everything. And then we ate Indian food for the second night in a row.
Yep. No regrets.
No regrets.
I didn't get Indian spicy this time though.
I don't think we talked about Indian spicy.
We didn't, because we didn't do a recap from yesterday.
Yeah.
But we'll do one for the day before, and then I'll talk about Indian spicy, and it'll seem like I'm doing things in order.
I mean, do we start now?
We pause this recording, and then we'll start a new one, just so it's easier for me